This is Orgadowski of WeAreChange.org here in Washington, D.C. And today is, of course, Jason Bermas's day off. So last week I did interviews with 3 cool, amazing human beings, and guess what? This week we're going to do the same thing. And we got Emily Molli, who's an amazing human being, investigative journalist, one of the few journalists out there who actually go on the ground and do actual reporting. People kind of lost sense of that, don't know what that even means. What? You're not just espousing your opinions, you're actually going somewhere on the ground and reporting something? What is that called? It's called journalism. It is very rare. Emily does it. I enjoy her work, and she's one of the few people that actually goes with me to Paris, we saw a lot of crazy stuff together, to say the least. Now, Emily, we're doing another example of problem, reaction, solution. In your opinion, from all your work, from all your investigations, what is one of the biggest problems out there?
I would have to say one of the biggest problems is probably how people interact on social media. And I think social media, too, is its own problem with how these huge tech companies are operating and using data. But I would say a big part of it is that we're kind of like lab rats when it comes to these new social interactions that we have, where there is so much room for taking people out of context, attributing like bad intentions and all of these things. Like, it's almost like we forgot how to interact with people. Like, the kind of conversations you see on social media, you wouldn't, we're outside a bar right now, you wouldn't see those kinds of like throwing chairs at each other. You wouldn't see that in real life, but on Twitter and on Facebook it happens just all too often. And it does bleed into real life. Like, you see you have both right and left Twitter kind of jumping on certain people on certain topics, but I think just in general, people wanting to attribute bad intentions, you do still also have people acting in bad faith, and I think it's just because we haven't matured enough in our in how we use social media. It's pretty new to us.
Screw you, little conservative lip-tart. How dare you tell me what to believe in? See this breaking news right now. Emily Molli believes we... No, I'm just playing around here. But no, I was doing a story today that was really interesting. It was actually by Vox. They blamed this on capitalism, but I think it's far more bigger than just that. The problem of algorithms manipulating us and controlling us, and that... I mean, the internet is still new. The internet... especially online companies, they're still teenagers in this grand scheme of things, but they wield an incredible amount of power. It is absolutely terrifying because obviously they're in private hands, allegedly quasi-private. They're really quasi also public as well, with seed money, tax, incentives, with governments with regulations creating monopolies. They hold so much power, and those powers are in profit-driven incentives, and they're making a lot of money, to say the least. This is why Silicon Valley has grown as big as they had, but that comes also, with that money comes a huge impact on our lives, and that's secondhand to them. Profit, of course, is first, because they're, again, a private industry. But what are some of the reactions you've been seeing from this kind of hyperbolic, weaponized, gambling-style social media system that we all interact with and live, and is more of something that we can't ignore as a humanity?
Well, one of the big reactions that we see almost constantly is just the mob coming after people, either trying to get their advertisers taken away or get them off the air or deplatform them. It doesn't matter where they are. They just don't want their voices out there, so they're gonna dogpile on these voices until they either take away their funding, take away their platform, and they have nothing left. But also, yeah, it's like you mentioned with the algorithms, like, we are seeing the things that are supposed to keep us on the platforms longer, seeing the things that we're supposed to be sharing more, and usually the things that people share are the things that make them angry. Like, it's like a huge driving factor.
If I could cut you off, evoke emotion. That's really the #1 secret. I mean, I talk to people in the industry, and they're like, you want to get hits, you want to get clicks? Evoke emotion and play a gang side. Join the Crips, which are the Democrats, or the Bloods, which are the Republicans. They're all full of crap. They're all just gangster mafiosos, parasites who want to leech off your soul and your well-being and your profit and your paycheck. Sorry, I'm ranting again. I'm going to get a book out here and get on a sandbox and stand outside the White House like a crazy person soon. But what you were saying makes absolute sense, because there have been psychological studies, and the people who are running social media organizations are allowing that to happen, and knowingly. Like, they know they're not doing a good thing. The people who have different pages know, hey, I want to get clicks. I'm I'm gonna put some race in there. Oh yeah, let's put some sex in there. Yeah, make it real sexy. Man hates woman. White men are responsible for climate change. I'm like, what? What? Or that Kevin Peele dude, or I don't think his name's Kevin Peele. I forgot his name. The guy who made Jordan Peele. Yeah. Oh yeah. No white people in my movies. Headlined by Vice, celebrating. Yes, screw white people. And meanwhile, what he said was ultimately like, hey, I saw a lot of those movies. I'm extremely privileged. I'm extremely lucky to have this opportunity. I would love to see movies represented by this, and I already saw those movies. Like again, the context here is so important, but you don't get that. You just get hyperbolic, sensational media, and that sells. Sadly, it does. We've been trying to fight against it. I'm ranting here. What's the solution? Sorry. This is your interview. Sorry.
Well, the solution is tough because, well, you have what tech companies think is the solution. Facebook specifically just came out and said, please regulate me, which is basically him trying to pass off the responsibility of the mess that he's already created. I don't know if, like, I think regulation and moderation might be good to curb some of the problems, like deplatforming, and I think regulation needs, if it happens, it needs to happen in a way that protects the biggest chunk of, I mean, no matter what, you're going to have people who are going to complain about Jack not doing anything about Nazis or Facebook not doing anything about certain things, but I think in the end it is going to come down to protections. It's gonna have to be widely installed protections, you know, and people, I just think it also needs to be happening on a individual level. People need to grow up. You getting outraged by something, that's your little primitive brain being like, oof, like you're jumping off of this this chemical reaction in your brain that is supposed to make you feel good. It's supposed to make you like, ooh, I'm riled up, I want to do something. You got to like take a second and be like, okay, that's my brain trying to get the best of me right now. Let me just count backwards from 5, or so, you know, a lot of people it's going to be more like count backwards from 60, but I think it's just people need to grow up, like, emotionally just mature a little bit more and not get so riled up by people having shitty opinions or bad ideas. Like, yes, you're going to have all kinds of idiots spouting their nonsense on the internet. That's the internet. Yeah. Welcome to the internet. Yeah. We have the same thing, like, walk down the street, you'll hear other people saying nonsense, and they're allowed to say that. Like, it doesn't mean that somebody who's walking by that person spouting nonsense is going to be like, oh, well, I heard it, so it must be true. Like, we have more than 2 brain cells to rub together, and I think people don't give enough credit to other people.
Yep. Calm down, take a deep breath. Get some nature, do some grounding. And I think I'm like one of the only people on YouTube. I mean, there's probably other people. Everyone's copying everyone, really. But I think I don't see this a lot. But I see, you know, I've been telling my viewers a lot. Stop watching me. Get off the internet. Go for a walk. Take a hike. And people's power is within you as an individual. And if you choose someone to affect you with just their words, you're giving them power over you, and people see that and they get off on that. And that's why we have sock jocks, and that's why we see hyperbolic, personalized insults. And, you know, you look at Twitter. Twitter's been engineered to pretty much start a civil war, I would argue. That's my opinion, because it is an opinion. But you look at Twitter, what goes viral? What goes trending? It's arguments. It's fights. Is that done by the algorithm? Or is it done by purpose, or is it done just because of human nature? That's a whole other issue that I would want to get into. But specifically, where your solution, two follow-ups. Do you trust government to fix the problem that they created, in my opinion? And 2, what would these regulations even be to regulate, or like help, how we do this? How do we do the solution? Give us more details.
I honestly, like, that's a hard question to answer, and that's why I don't think regulation is the greatest answer, but I think any kind of regulation that gives the most amount of people protection, even that I have serious reservations about, because I think regulation in general can be pretty problematic, especially you get all kinds of unintended consequences. And I think no matter what, we are going to be going towards regulation, because we have these huge monopolistic tech companies that are dominating these certain areas, and what can you do about that? I don't know. Like, that's why I think the best, most effective way of fixing some of these problems is going to be on the individual level. People aren't being forced to be on Facebook or on Twitter, and these things are engineered, so you're constantly looking for notifications, but you can get a lot of satisfaction outside of social media. go hang out with your friends. Go hang out with people you disagree with. It's amazing how many of my friends I have. I wouldn't say arguments, but just like debates, like really passionate debates. And at the end, we still all respect each other. Like even if we think, you know, their answers are you know, gonna doom us all.
Yeah, we were just talking. I have friends that are very different politically. I date women that are extremely different politically. We were just talking about, oh, you don't want to know half of it. You know, you're laughing. You already know. You don't want to know. Anyway, where can people find you and your last words on this issue?
Well, I actually do a lot of work talking about social media companies.
On social media?
On social media, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called Subverse, which is youtube.com/Subverse videos. I'm also on Twitter at momesmolli, MOMESMOLLI, but I would say my favorite social network right now is Minds, because they are so big on free speech and anti-censorship and decentralization. So minds.com/momesmolli as well. I would definitely highly recommend Minds. You can also check out Subverse on Minds at minds.com/Subverse.
I got to get in contact with Minds. Bill, I'm calling you. If you know Bill, the dude from Minds, let him know. Anyway, thank you so much. Definitely check out Emily. Her link will be in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, share it. Every Monday, I think I'm just going to be doing interviews with cool people. So let me know what you guys think. Give us some feedback. You guys are more appreciated than ever. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.